You're listening to the Last Seen Online podcast. Visit us on YouTube at Last Seen Online. Hey, what's up, guys? Corey here, and welcome to Hardcore Casuals, episode 1. This is our first ever episode of the show, and it's probably gonna be a little rough, but hey, you know what? Let's give it a shot. I am joined by two people that they're pretty cool. We've been hanging out and playing together for like maybe the last 6 months. And I am joined by Saint Reaper and Superstar. All right. I guess Saint, you wanna introduce yourself?
Hey, what's up? It's Saint Reaper.
Super.
Yeah, this is Superstars 3, 34 from Pennsylvania.
All right. So I guess let's just jump right into it. Launch day. How was everybody's launch day? I mean, I know mine was it wasn't that bad. A little bit of trouble getting in, but once I got across on the boat, at least for me, I didn't have any issues.
Yeah, I had plenty of issues. Especially with the Druid getting stuck in limbo, infinite loading screen. And then once I was able to log in, then I kept getting DC constantly. Until yesterday, I had to write a ticket in order to get it fixed. I don't know what was going on with it, but I'm finally able to log on to it.
Almost like that was like what, 4 days or so you were stuck in that?
Yeah, it was 4 days, and I got on as soon as they were released the boat. Everybody got on the boat. I missed getting on the boat the first time around, and it never came back. So it was like hours until I was able to actually get into DragonFlight. You guys didn't get on until like a couple hours later, right?
No, so I actually had, it was several hours for me. I ended up laying down for a little bit. It was probably around, I'm in Eastern time, so it was probably around 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and tried to log in, and at that point, I didn't have any issues. I originally made the boat with Corey, but I was getting a major lag issue. I couldn't loot. Character kept getting stuck, and then I was getting in the extended disconnects. So that was a little frustrating. So, um, kind of be expected when they launch worldwide at the same time, though. I don't know if they've given it some thought, maybe like a rolling launch, kind of let certain regions get on like a few hours and then let the next region get on. That way, maybe it helped the servers, not be so overwhelmed. Um, but yeah, definitely had some issues day one.
Yeah, I was expecting like queue times to log in, but that wasn't an issue this time around, like Shadowlands it was. But I had a lot more issues actually getting into the expansion than I did in Shadowlands. Once I was in, I actually could do the content. Dragonflight, it was like several hours later before I actually could really play the game, because once I did get in Dragonflight, I was having the same issues, looting. Every time I try to click on a quest, it wouldn't pop up. So I had to log off and log back in, and it worked sometimes. I had to keep doing that repeatedly. What about you, Corey?
Well, I guess as Lunar calls it, I had streamer privilege apparently. I mean, getting on, I don't think I really had too much trouble getting on. And whenever we finally did decide to make the jump and take the boat, I mean, I got in, um, like no issues at all. It was pretty flawless for me. I know Lunar had trouble, um, because before the expansion went live, she logged off on another server, and so she could not get onto the server that we play on, Sargeras. And so it took her like what, like maybe an hour or two, maybe. I don't remember how long it took, but yeah, she had issues, and then I don't know. Once we all got over there, um, for me it was pretty flawless. I know Saint he had trouble with the lag and stuff like that.
Yeah, I also had lag spikes here and there, which ended up in disconnects quite a bit as well.
I did have a couple of disconnects. I do remember that.
On Area 52, I could not get on at all. Every time I logged on any character, instantly DC'd. Because I originally planned on leveling my Horde Druid first, but then end up doing the Hunter, because that's the only character I could actually log on and play.
Ugh.
I mean, I will say with a new launch, it's always exciting to make new friends, see old friends return. The number of people waiting at the boat there in Stormwind, riding around waiting, kind of complaining together, but ready to start their new adventure. Like it was pretty cool seeing that.
Yeah, it definitely was a lot of fun, especially with this how they did things with the DragonFlight, and the story was way better than Shadowlands. I did enjoy leveling a lot more than I did in Shadowlands. Like the story was boring in Shadowlands to me. Like I was not interested in it whatsoever. But yeah, the pace for leveling was so much better as well, and it didn't even feel like a chore to do, to level from 60 to 70. You did the campaign, you pretty much was leveling perfectly with progressing through the campaign, which was really nice. And Shadowlands, I think I didn't even hit close to 60 before I finished the campaign.
Yeah, so far, as far as leveling goes, I would definitely say do side quests, guys. I was not anticipating to literally be through the entire campaign, like leveling campaign at level 68. So they definitely do want you to do some side quest, some dungeons, or just something else to actually to help push the leveling experience along as far as getting the levels goes.
Yeah, that isn't too bad though. Hitting 68 with almost completing the campaign. I did do a lot of side quests, and I wish I would have did more of them, because once you hit 70, you have to do them all anyways because you need the rep. So that's what I've been doing, going around doing all the side quests that I should have done and gathering all the rep for the renown, because I can't progress through the story until I get my renown up. I don't know how high. I didn't really look into it, but
Yeah, that's another thing too. The way they're doing the reputation, um, I like it, but at the same time, it's different. It's gonna take some getting used to, at least for me, just because I'm used to seeing, okay, well, I'm, this percentage away from getting too honored, this percentage away from getting too revered. But, instead of doing that, you're getting renown levels. And I mean, it's worth a shot. I definitely do like them trying something different outside the box. And it seems a little bit more engaging as well, because each level you get perks and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's not like a dire need either. Like it's not something you need to be able to stay current. It's just all these extra stuff on like Shadowlands where you had to do the renown in order to get your conduits up to be able to do anything.
Yeah, so far, I mean, I am definitely happy with not having to worry about borrowed power right away, or for the matter at all. And dragon riding has been pretty freaking phenomenal for me lately. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, dragonflying is fun. I don't know. It was frustrating at first because I could not reach like certain points because I kept almost getting up there and then just floating back down. But once you get the more vigor, it's a lot better. I got all the glyphs, so my vigor is like maxed out. So it's so much better after you complete the campaign and get all your rewards and stuff for dragonflying.
I also really like how it's like pretty much like instant too. We don't have to wait until level 68 or the expansion's basically done before we can even start to fly.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Yeah, because that's like every expansion ever. The flying always came really far away from release, and you had to do a bunch of stuff just to unlock it as well, which sucked. What about you, Sam? What do you think about dragon flying so far?
let's see. I know he stepped away momentarily.
Oh, I didn't hear him say that.
Um,
Yeah, this expansion is 10 times better than Shadowlands. Like I quit playing Shadowlands after Castle. Like I just got tired of Torghast. I got tired of the borrowed power. I got tired of the conduits, the covenants. Like it was just too much upkeep. And Dragonflight eliminated all that, which is really nice because a lot of people were pretty fed up with all the upkeep that you had to do in Shadowlands just to stay current, just to be able to be putting out numbers and stuff.
well, hell, I mean, even just alts. If you wanted to play an alt or something like that, you want to try out a new class. It was the catch up was just so ridiculous that there just almost was no help unless you literally played like all day every day. You know, Playing an alt really was just kind of, I mean, especially for me, it was out of grasp for me really to be able to play a alt at a higher end level.
Yeah, it was definitely out of grasp for me too because I work and it was a lot. It was almost unable to keep up with one character with all the constant dailies you had to do and upkeep and core gas weeklies and it was just overwhelming. If it felt like a second job, it wasn't fun anymore. So that's one of the reasons why I quit, and then I came back towards at the end of Sanctum once
Oh,
that new like patch came out. that they change a lot of stuff, I decided to give Shadowlands a second try because it was just unbearable when it first launched. I don't know what they were thinking that would be enjoyable for players to go through, but it was probably one of the worst expansions I've played for sure.
What are your thoughts on that, Saint?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm really enjoying DragonFlight so far. I still haven't reached max level, so I can't really speak on the alt experience. I did finish the main storyline, so like I did unlock where you can kind of choose your own way, which is cool. I know they did away with the threads of fate, but you can still kind of play the game the same way as that, kind of worked. Um, but so far through the leveling, I find it's pretty fluent, rewarding. Each zone telling its unique story, kind of about each one of the different dragon flights. I would maybe have liked a little more on that. Um, So I actually took a large WoW break, and was out during Cataclysm, Mists, and Warlords. I originally started in Vanilla, and I played through Burning Crusade and Wrath, and then came back during Legion. So like some of the Dragonflight stuff, a lot of that happened in Cataclysm, so I'm not really familiar on that backstory. So it would have been nice to have given some like new players or players like me that didn't get to experience that expansion, maybe a little more history on that. Uh, that's more nitpicky than being an actual complaint, though. Really like the dragon riding, exploring the world, finding new things as I go. I didn't worry about finding all the glyphs right away. Like if I saw them while I was questing or moving to a new zone, I'd grab them, but otherwise, like I didn't seek them out. I'll probably do that once I hit max level, to help my alts out. But um, just every time you go dragon riding, you're finding a new rare or a new treasure or, a new little quest hub or there's just so much and the zones are expansive. I think they did a really good job balancing that out, especially with the dragon riding and speed. You know, like if you're on foot, like, yeah, it takes forever to get somewhere, but with the dragon riding, like you can hop up, get some height and just cruise to wherever you want to go.
I don't know if you guys ever watched House of Dragons, but it definitely feels a lot like that when you're watching the dragons fly through the skies, and it feels like you're playing that. You ever watch Game of Thrones series? It's pretty good, but yeah, the dragon flying is a lot of fun. Like I got all the glyphs, and it only took me probably like 30 minutes after you get the add-on, which tells you all the locations where they're at, and one really good thing about it is you only have to do it once. All your alts have it unlocked, and you have full vigor right off from the start on your alt. And yeah, they don't have threats of fate, which isn't a big deal because basically you don't have to go through dragon flying again to learn all that. That's already done. It's basically there's a map. You pick which area you want to go to, and you can do quests. You don't have to, but I would recommend doing them because you need the rep. The rep is nice for the renown and stuff. So doing strictly dungeons, you don't get rep for it, and leveling alts is a lot quicker, I think, than Shadowlands was. Well, I didn't really do alts in Shadowlands because you couldn't.
Yep.
I did level a few, but that's about it.
Hey, the
Yeah,
one
I
thing
level.
that oh, sorry, go ahead, Saint.
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh no, because it sounds like what you was gonna talk about is a little bit more in tune of what Super was talking about.
Yeah, so like it's kind of the same thing. Like I leveled several alts during Shadowlands. I actually mid expansion switched to mains, and that was just so painful. Like trying to get do the Torghast and get the legendaries, and then get everything caught up. It just they very not alt friendly. having not reached max level, not reaching high end content yet, like I really can't speak on this expansion. Um, but from the sounds of it, like it's much easier to do things. I know like a lot of our renowns are account bound, our dragon writing's account bound. So, you know, definitely things that you can build on with alts instead of having to start over.
Even like currency, like I know when I was doing the pre-event, you can trade for that gear. You could trade it across characters through your account. Didn't matter what server it was on. So hopefully it's like that for everything. Like with gear and stuff, I
Huh.
haven't really messed with it, but hopefully if you get gear, you can trade it. That isn't bound to you to different characters, no matter what server they're on. But yeah, this expansion definitely is a lot more alt friendly than Shadowlands. Like with everything being account bound, like it should have been from the start. And with Shadowlands, there was no time for alts. Like you had to pick one, and even like I said, keeping up with one was difficult as it is. I can't imagine doing more than that.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely do like how everything, so far in DragonFlight, everything is across the account. That will like make things so much easier for alts. Um, I mean, just simply going and trying out another class. It's like okay, well, this patch here, I want to play, prop poly. Well, maybe like halfway through the patch cycle, it's like, yeah, you know what? I really don't feel like playing, prop pal anymore. Let me go try out prop warrior. Okay, cool. Boom. All I got to do is just level them up and gear them. All I got to worry about. Don't got to worry about, you know, getting legendaries, getting my renown up, my covenants, trying to figure out which conduits that I gotta pick, and flopping back and forth between conduits depending on which uh which kind of content I'm doing. That was the other thing too about Shadowlands that I completely disliked was depending on which content you were doing, you had to change several different things. Your talents, um, your gear, your conduits, your covenant, legendaries. And then it's like, okay, well, if I'm just doing the trash before I get to the boss, okay, then I want to use these legendaries. And then right before we pull the boss, I got to switch to these legendaries. It was just too much of a hassle.
Oh yeah, and especially when each new patch, like I was Beast Mastery, and then the next patch, Marksman was top, and then Beast Mastery sunk way down the bottom of the DPS chart, and so I had to go and get new legendary, level a new covenant, and do all the renown for it, and then do the story. It was just too much, for sure.
Yeah. Hey, going piggybacking off that as well as story. I mean, so far the story in Dragonflight is a lot more engaging than it was in Shadowlands, at least for me. So far my favorite, I guess, section is the whole Chromie thing. That was like I really, really like what they're doing with that right there. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that would have to be my favorite as well. Seeing Chromie more than just like a timekeeper for leveling and actually put in the main story. It was pretty cool.
Yep.
And what they did when you went back to the past, like you're creating your character again, I thought that was very clever. That was funny.
uh, I think one of my favorite part. Well, actually, I got confused there at first because I don't know if you guys remember that part of the stream or not. But when the first time whenever I went back to the human starting zone, and I started like actually doing the quest, not realizing that I had to jump through the portal or whatever it was. So I started doing the level 1 quest all over again.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. And then they just pulled you back right in the middle. I seen you like attack a boar, and then you just got transported right back. Didn't you have to go back because you didn't get credit for it?
Yeah, I had to go back and then do it all over again.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I've done 2 characters of 70 so far, and I've completed that one completely on both. Like I didn't do the other ones, but that one was just a lot of fun to do.
Yep. And then like the Deathwing one, I think that was like the one of the last ones that you go through, and it's a giant Murloc.
Yeah, and then you're like dropping stuff on it to kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely was a good section. It's a good way to end it too, because that was the last of the campaign, and it was the best one, I think. What do you think, Saint?
Yeah, I actually thoroughly enjoyed that quest line as well. Like I said, I really like each zone being a different dragonflight, telling its own story. Um, I really like that, and um, you know, I know we've had some rough uh expansions here lately. I think they started to head in a decent direction with Legion, and then I think they bought into the things that we didn't like more than the things we did like. Um, Shadowlands was pretty rough. BFA, I was kind of just iffy about, but it was kind of three kind of fairly dark expansions. You got a Fell invasion. We got old gods. I mean, and I know they sold it as a faction war, but we all knew going into that. Um, and then Shadowlands, just an entire expansion about death. Um, and just a lot of people have real life stuff going on, man. Like that, you don't want to deal with that when you go to game. This is supposed to be entertainment, and just kind of offshooting a little bit into just the design of the zones, but like everything's so bright and vibrant, and the music's kind of calm and soothing. Like it pumps up what it needs to, or it really portrays whatever tone it needs to. But you know, everything's bright, and it's about adventure and exploring something new.
Yeah, and I definitely like when you land your dragon. It just makes that big thump when you're landing. That sound is just so satisfying to me when you're landing and it's like, yeah, I'm here. Especially when you can pick to do damage. I hope they have a PvP match where you can do dragonflying. That would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like incorporate some kind of battleground.
Yeah, like they did in that one instance, that dungeon where you can dragonfly to the different areas, clear it, do the boss, then fly to a different one, clear it, do the boss, then fly to the third
Hmm.
section.
I have to start doing some dungeons then. That's one thing. I've only done like 2 so far of the dungeons.
Yeah, same. That is one of the ones I've done though. That's the one in the on Iron Plains, the Knockhead offensive. But yeah, I really enjoyed that aspect. Cool, tying in other game elements into the instance. Um, I can't remember, and I don't have it in front of me right now for the like M plus rotation. I could see that possibly being an issue there, like making sure everybody's on the same page to go to the right area, for whatever the fastest route is. Um, but we're not there yet, so I'm sure people will figure it out before then.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, doing that one, because especially trying to make the timer, not knowing where to go. Because when I did it, that was probably like the first dungeon I did, and we had no idea where to go, so we flew and I guess I still don't know what you have to do. You just kill a certain amount of things around the area, and then the boss shows up. I don't know. I just attacked whatever's that was coming at us. So, but tanking that, yeah, I'm not really sure, which I'm gonna have to figure out because when I start leveling my tank, the different routes and stuff. Because yeah, it's gonna be something you need to know. And another thing, because I've done all the dungeons, some of them are just too mob heavy. Like there's this crazy amount of mobs before a boss. Not all of them, but that's going to be real pain in the ass for Mythic Plus as well, because some of them it just has too much shit you can run into.
Invisible pots are gonna be making a comeback for sure. Then I guess in Mythic Plus coming up this season.
Yeah, for sure. Because the one I tanked on my druid, I did do one, and holy crap, there was so much mobs. And I was like, man, I just imagine doing this in Mythic Plus, like making the timer, because it's like, I don't know if you can avoid not going through them. And I watched other streamers doing the dungeons as well through Mythic Zeros, which I haven't done yet, and they also said the same thing. It's like, wow, they went crazy with some of the dungeons with the amount of mobs you have to go through to get through a section.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. Having only done two, I haven't run into that in the two that I've done. I mean, the knockout offensive had plenty of trash, but I mean, just due to the nature of dragon riding, a lot of it was skippable.
Yeah,
Um,
some are straightforward, and some is just like you got to figure out where to go. Like you can get lost easily.
time for my unpopular opinion, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Something I used to really enjoy, um, and the game's really gotten away from it. Um, Trash used to matter. Like now it's just like, oh, let's just grab all the trash, AoE it down, and then move on. Like I remember back in the day, like, all right, hey mage, you sheep that one, rogue, you sap this one. All right, you make sure you kick that one. Like, trash used to be difficult. Um, and I feel we really gotten away from that, and I don't know why.
Oh yeah. I remember back in Cataclysm doing those dungeons, especially that one up in the sky. I can't remember what it's called, but there was like that triangle vortex thing, and you always had to like CC the healer, or it would be a wipe guarantee. Yeah, they did get away from that because what do you use sheep for anymore other than PvP? You don't really use it in dungeons anymore or raids. You just pretty much mow down the trash and then move on.
Yeah, I mean, I can I definitely agree with that one for sure. I think really part of it comes to I mean, for the lack of better words, they wanted to make it a esport. So, speed running in general is like the name of the game is what a lot of it comes down to anymore. It's not it doesn't really seem a whole lot of okay, well, you know what, let's make the dungeon hard. Let's uh let's see how fast people can get through it. You know what I mean? I don't know, it's just I think that's something that probably transfers from like the classic community, because that's one thing that I see a lot in the classic community is that's the end game. The end game there is how quickly can we run through BWL? How quickly can we run through Sunwell? How quickly can we run through Naxxramas? Um, Yeah, I think esports is really just kind of what brings some parts of the game down. Personally,
Yeah, speedrunning definitely is a very popular thing that people love to watch. I know if you go on Twitch, you'll see so many people speedrunning games, trying to beat it as fast as they can, and I don't think doing crowd control and all that extra stuff would work with Mythic Plus because your goal is to beat the timer and see how quickly you can beat it above the timer in order to get a higher key and people get more loot if you beat it within a certain time frame. But if you had to sit there and like, all right, it's crowd control one or put one asleep, it just would be time consuming. It would definitely, dungeons would take more time.
yep. I think maybe we'll save that one for next week. We'll talk about loot and what it even means today in World of Warcraft. I think we'll save that topic for next week.
Give
What
us a
loot?
chance to get some.
What's that?
Give us a chance to actually get some.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do some dungeons. I did start getting some loot on the hunter. I did a lot of dungeons, and I only got one piece. It's just annoying spending that time going through the whole dungeon and not getting nothing, especially on normal. On a normal, you're going through it. You're really not getting any reward if you're not getting at least something from a boss. But I said the hell with that. Went ahead and started doing PvP to get my PvP gear, and then at least with the PvP gear, you'll be able to get into a heroics because it's 411 PvP, and then it's 340 at PvE. But you also can upgrade it because you have to be at 342 to get in heroics. So you upgrade it by one until you get it to 342 PvE, and obviously it'll be higher for PvP. And then I wouldn't waste time on normal, so I would do that because doing the getting the gear through, I think PvP. Well, I enjoy PvP. I don't know about you guys, but I do enjoy doing PvP. So doing it that way is a lot more enjoyable than going through normals and not getting nothing. When you can win a battleground, you get like 1,000, you can get a piece of gear. You guys don't do PvP, do you?
No, not particularly.
Back in the day, that's all I did.
I've tried so many times. And for Shadowlands is a good example. Leaving BFA, I even told myself, I'm like, you know what? I've never actually like dug in and got into PvP. I was like, you know what? That's gonna be my focus this expansion. And I say that every expansion for like the past since honestly probably since like Mr. Pandaria. Um, I always tell myself I'm gonna focus on PvP. I'm gonna focus on PvP. I'm gonna actually do some arenas. I'm gonna try to learn the class, to on that side of the spectrum. But I never do because I love raiding, doing dungeons. That's what I love about the game.
Oh yeah, I definitely like raiding too, but especially back during like Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King, I didn't raid. All I did was PvP, and that's what I did. I didn't start raiding until Cataclysm. That's when I first, dipped in the raiding scene, and it was a lot of fun. So then I did both. But in Shadowlands, you had to pick one or the other because you couldn't do both because that's a whole nother set of covenant you had to the mess with legendaries. Shadowlands was so bad with all the requirements that you had to do just to be current. And yeah, you couldn't do both and still have a life. You would have to dedicate all day, every day, just to play a game, and it wasn't enjoyable. Like, that's why I quit mostly through Shadowlands until the end. Once they started listening to the player base, started doing some changes and correcting like the Torghast and all the other stuff. But yeah, DragonFlight definitely looks promising. I can do both now because I have one tab set for PvP and I can easily swap to PvP, the PvE. So I'll be able to switch into my PvP gear if I feel like doing PvP, and then I can switch to my PvE gear and do raids and Mythic Plus. Unlike Shadowlands, I couldn't do that, which is really nice with this expansion now that I can have best of both worlds and still maintain a life.
Right on.
Cool. Well, we're coming up on 40 minutes already. Um, I guess we will wrap it up here for the first episode, episode 1. And guess we'll say our goodbyes. Super. Yeah. Is there any place in particular that folks can find you at all? Twitch, YouTube?
Yeah, I'm on Twitch. I do a lot of retro streaming on there, and occasionally I do some WoW streaming, but I mostly do retro. I don't know if you guys ever heard of RetroArch, but I'm a big achievement hunter on that, so I like to go through the games and do that. But lately I've been playing WoW, especially because of the new expansion. But yeah, I need to get back into streaming. I've been away for a little bit because I was switching from Streamlabs, OBS, Streamlabs to OBS, and I didn't know that you could just easily copy and paste basically to OBS, but I had to recreate everything for OBS because I switch because Streamlabs I had a pre-made like title screen and all that I paid for, like the subscription. You probably know about it. I paid it for a couple of years, and I was like, I ain't paying this anymore. I'll just do my own. So I switched to OBS, and I'm getting familiar with OBS again. But I will be streaming again here real soon. I was messing with it earlier today, and I basically got everything set up where I can stream again. I was having issues with my webcam. I couldn't get it to come up, but I finally got it to work here. So yeah, I'll definitely be streaming here real soon, probably next week. It's same thing. It's twitch.com/superstars3. Instead of the E, it's a 3. So it's pretty much sub 3R stars 3. And then you'll find me on there. And I also, same with Twitter, Discord, all that. It's pretty much the same handle. Instagram. I did post some clips of my streams on Instagram as well. So it's all the same. I think on Instagram it's another 3 because I think it was taken. I'm not I have to double check on that, but that's where you can find me.
Cool. We'll definitely be checking you out, man. Saint?
Yep. Thanks for having us. It's been a pleasure. Definitely look forward to doing this again with you. Um, Currently in the process of getting set up as a new streamer. I'm doing the research right now, trying to get familiar with OBS. Um, Looking at getting some equipment soon. So I already kind of have my logo worked on. My son likes to write music, so he's actually writing my intro music for me. Um, through a app he likes to do on his laptop. But I'll be starting probably late December or early January. So stay tuned, guys. I'll be probably doing a lot of WoW content, and then my son and I play a lot of Call of Duty and other like battle royale games. So we'll probably do some co-streams together, doing those things too.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. We'll definitely be checking it out for sure. And
Yeah, for sure.
like always, I am Corey.
Yeah, if you need any help,
Corey Stream. Twitch.tv/Corey Stream. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Raids are gonna kick off here. Oh, I don't know, in a little bit. So we will catch you guys next week. All right. Be sure to come hang out and stream.